Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Besties. We are celebrating 2 years of Biz Besties here on the podcast. It's a birthday week all around. It was TGIM's birthday earlier this week. It was my birthday earlier this week. Now it's Biz Bestie's birthday. It's how fitting that the podcast is Aries energy.
It's a big week at My Aligned Purpose. We're
Mhm.
so happy you're here.
We are so happy you're here. Kayla, what are you grateful for?
Today, I am grateful for our amazing ability to just say we're going to do something and make it happen. And our trip to California was incredible. I'm grateful for coffee today and every day. And my new friend, Michael, that I met at the park, who's the cutest boy you've ever seen in your life. Maybe we'll have to post him over on Instagram.
By the way, Michael's a dog that looks like a
Yeah, he looks like a panda. He's so cute and he did almost bite me, but I just love random run-ins with the cutest dogs on earth. So, what are
Hmm.
you grateful for?
I am just going to adjust my seat here. I
Yeah,
am
we're doing a big adjustment. I just adjusted my laptop stand.
I am incredibly grateful for our speakers for She Leads. We've been having meetings with them to go over the speaker flow and how they're engaging the audience and what they're talking about. And we have curated, like, these women are incredibly funny, talented, determined. Their energy is synergistic. We've got our health is wealth panel, and the synergy amongst those women is just spot on. And then we've got our women in business panel, same thing, synergy amongst them. Then the way that you and I are able to interact with them. And then, of course, our keynotes being Mint, Robin, and Monica. And we've got so many other surprises and delights, the vendor market, all the vendor businesses that are showing up, the local businesses that have put goodies into our goodie bags. I'm just
Yeah.
so grateful for the connections that we continue to make.
Yeah.
And I think about how we were way in LA and we met our new friends in Edmonton who might be flying into She Leads. And the icing on the cake for them on the final night, they were like, yeah, we might fly into your event, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, it would be so great for you to meet Robin and Monica because they were on Dragon's Den and our new friends are also going to apply to go on Dragon's Den. And they were like, Robin and Monica? How did we get Robin and Monica? Oh my God, now I'm really flying in. And we were like, how did we get Robin and Monica? We've built a friendship with them. We've built a connection with them. This is years in the making. And
That's true.
so I'm just so grateful that there's these incredibly powerful women in business and there are peers and there are friends in our network. And I'm so excited to put them on a platform for everyone else to be able to hear from them at the weekend at She Leads.
I cannot wait. So She Leads is April 25th and 26th. And then if you were an Aligned CEO client, also April 27th. But for everyone, April 25th and 26th at the Oak Bay Beach Hotel here in Victoria. You need to get your ticket. We're actively selling, like we just sold 5 this morning. They're flying off the shelves. You need to get them and come with a Biz Bestie or meet a Biz Bestie there in the room. There are so many people coming by themselves who are open to meeting new people, having fun, and we're going to be there to support. So we'll introduce you to everyone.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No one left behind. And our theme for Friday night is Bubbles and Besties. And
Bubbles and besties.
that's what we're all about. And if you don't enjoy bubbles, then we'll give you some non-alcoholic bubbles. It'll be
Yeah.
totally fine. There's going to be a whole bunch of food laid out. Don't worry, you never go hungry at a My Line Purpose event. And the besties component, we are going to be doing some fun, interactive connection exercises so that people can meet their new friends. So that when you show up again on Saturday morning, you're like actively seeking out your new friends that you made on Friday night and planning to sit together and have lunch together. And it's just going to be so much fun. So that's the theme for Friday night is bubbles and besties.
Amazing. Okay, grab your ticket, myalignedpurpose.com/she leads.
Okay, so today what we want to talk about is more celebration. If you didn't listen to TGIM, I suggest you go back and listen to that. I shared 5 either lessons or things that I celebrated in 5 years of doing this podcast. And today, what Kayla and I want to chat about on the theme of being in this business for 5 years is what it's really like to have a biz bestie. We just got back from LA. There were lots of couples in our mastermind, husband and wife couples, lots of entrepreneurial solo entrepreneurs there. And we are the only business partner duo in our mastermind that's also not a husband and wife. Like we go home to our own separate lives after this. And but not really because we just get on Zoom together 24/7 anyway. But we were just like debriefing that and thinking about how cool it is. And so many people brought that up to us. They were like, you really make it happen like 50-50. You two just roll with it. Like you're okay when, I'm okay when Kaila has this big idea to do these Kajabi things. And Kaila, you're so okay when I've got these big ideas for I want to speak on stages. And so we're going to talk about how we maintain true partnership and friendship and build a business together. And if you've heard this before, stick around because there's a new flair to what we're bringing to it of how you can really make this happen. And we want to talk about what it's like for those of you who are listening who don't have a business bestie yet.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk about our first rule since it came from your second favorite podcaster?
Yeah, okay, we have 3 rules that we follow all the time as Biz Besties, and we're going to go through them. But before we do that, our 3 values that are the same, which I truly believe is why we are able to continue to come together and move our business goals forward, are freedom, connection, and generosity. And we run every decision through the filter of these 3 values. We truly both believe in those 3 things that dictate every single thing we do in our life. So that's number 1. And then number 2, we have 3 rules, very important rules. VIP rules.
Mhm.
Okay. Number 1, only one person is allowed to go to the zoo at a time. Now, when you're aggressively building a 7-figure service and digital products based business and you have anywhere from 40 to 60 to 100 clients at a time. And you have team and we're building all the things. We're traveling, we have expenses, we're putting on events, which cost money. We're making a lot of decisions. It could cause someone to tip over and go to the zoo. And if you don't know what that means, it means go a little cuckoo bananas, lose the plot a little bit. Like you're trying to keep it together, but it all just seems like it's too much and it cannot be kept together. Only one person can lose their shit at once. That's our rule. So if one person's going crazy, the other person must keep it together.
And this is an unwritten rule. Like it's not like we have these rules written down somewhere where I'm like,
We should put it in our shareholder agreement.
yeah, I'm going to the zoo today. Kaila must keep it together. It's just how we operate. And thankfully, and this just goes to show how business and life has ebbs and flows and ups and downs. I don't believe there has been a day where we've both truly went to the zoo. There have been moments where I think we both look at each other and we're like, what? What is going on? Let's take a break and reconvene after we have some coffee or a nap or something. But in terms of, oh my God, shit's hitting the fan and I'm
Shut
losing
it down.
here. Yeah, shut it down, burn it all down. When I feel that way, thankfully you don't. And when you feel that way, thankfully I don't. And then we bring each other back to the reality that we create.
Thankfully. And I think anyone in a partnership who's doing business or parenting or whatever, you can take that rule and run with it. We learned it from Gretchen Rubin's sister on the Happier in Hollywood podcast because they're a writing team in Hollywood and they're executive producers. They do all the writing, they hire all the people, and they're business partners and have been since high school. They're in their 50s now, and that's their rule. Only one person at the zoo. I think it's a day, but for us, it could be multiple times a day, but not at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, our second rule that we have is that we go all in on the idea that is the biggest or the most favorable, or what's a better way to describe this?
Whomever feels more strongly about something gets what they want and the other person has to compromise basically. It's not, that's also not a hard and fast rule, but we've just been going with that. So if it's, I really think we should have professional bookkeeping and accounting and a lawyer and all the things that we need in place. And just this isn't a thing, but for example, Nicole says, yeah, that would be okay, but I don't love paying $500 a month for it. But then I feel like that is what we need to do to professionalize our business. And I feel so strongly that I would, let's say, be willing to pay for it myself, then we make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There was, oh, this is a great example. Okay, here's a real life example within the last week. We're cruising on BC ferries. We're waiting in our line for our food at White Spot.
I can't wait to hear this example. Go on.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
No, dressing on the side. That's my ride or die
No, no,
choice.
no. We
I don't
literally
know.
had a moment of this. Okay, so we're cruising along BC ferries. We're in the strait of whatever it's called,
Georgia.
Georgia Strait. We're going from Vancouver to Victoria. It has been a long ass travel day already. The ferry's delayed by an hour. We are hungry, but we are salad queens. So we decide we're each going to get our salad, but then we say, should we share fries? Because we always share fries. But then the age-old question came up from me, Kaila, should we get sweet potato fries or regular fries? And Kayla said, oh, regular fries. I want some ketchup with them. But she said, ooh, but the sweet potato ones are salty. What do you think? And I said, I truly have no preference. Which one would you like more? And you were like, regular. Okay, great. That's just there. If we're both,
Mhm.
I don't know who feels more strongly about one. I didn't have a preference. I just wanted a French fry. I don't care if they're sweet. I don't care if they're white potato. Get me a French fry. But you were leaning a bit more towards a regular old French fry.
Yeah,
Since
I was.
you're leaning towards, let's do it.
Yeah, business is about making decisions all the live long day, hundreds of decisions a day, all the time. We're like, are we sending this email? Are we sending this email? What's the plan here? What are we doing with this client? Oh, I just have this great idea for this VIP day. Let's bring this in. We'll order that book. Decision. What are we spending money on for this? Who's going to be the person who's partnering with us for this? Are we going to this mastermind? What flight should we book? What hotel should we book? Like, we make billions of decisions all the time. So it really cuts back on that. I guess it's like wishy-washiness. Have you ever, for everyone listening, been out to dinner with someone who's like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go? I don't care. I don't know. If we operated like that, it would be absolute hell on earth to get anything done. So, whomever is feeling they have the capacity to make a decision at that moment, you're it. You just made that decision and we're going with it. And lots of times, I have to defer to you, even if maybe you don't feel super strongly about it. Like our media team for She Leads, it's like, I know that I feel shaky spending a lot of money because that's just what I'm working through in this season of life. And I know that you have a vision of what you want it to look like. So I'm like, you tell me if you think this is what we need. And then we're just going to go all in on that because that's not something I feel capable of making a decision about in this moment. So
Mhm.
pick
Yeah.
someone to make the decision. And if you feel strongly, speak up, sister.
And and for those listening and you're curious, because it does
Mhm.
say behind the scenes here, we're talking about
Mm.
that. Do we ever get to a place where we're both like, no, it needs to be this way. No, it needs to be this way. Where we're both
Right.
like, I believe my way is right. Honestly, I feel like we both get really close sometimes of should we invest in this, should we not? It typically comes down to what we're investing in because we share money. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like we've ever gotten to this place where we're like butting heads. We just always have one of us who feels slightly stronger about something then we make the decision and we move forward.
So we never look back either. We're not thinking like those 15 decisions were yours. And so this one gets to be mine. We don't do tit for tat. Like you ate those French fries and now I want to eat an apple. And that's about the same amount as this and that. We never act like that. So even if we did come to that point, it's long gone in the bank of my memory. So I don't know. But we both generally want the same thing. It's very helpful. If you're going to pick a business partner, and you're going to go biz besties with them and go all in to build out a project, you don't have to be biz besties with them for every business you have because the good news is once you start your business and you get it rolling, you're going to learn a lot and you might want to start a new one. Like we've had lots of businesses before My Aligned Purpose separately. So you might want to do something else. That's okay. But the plan is just get started, just start making decisions, moving things forward. And there's no scorekeeping. Scorekeeping does not work in a successful partnership. You have to be all in for the benefit of the other person, knowing they're all in for the benefit of you. And if you can't come to that, maybe you aren't good with a business partner.
Mhm.
Maybe you hire someone and you just pay them hourly and they support you that way. But we know we are going to the top. We need each other and we're making it happen.
It requires an extreme level of trust. And so,
Mm.
for everyone listening, if you're thinking about, oh, it'd be so much easier if I had a biz bestie. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like business does feel fun and easier than if I was to think about going at this solo. And also, you've got to do your own work on true trust. Not saying you trust anyone and everyone, not saying you trust this person because you like them or you did one little thing together. Like you two have to come to the table and talk about what it really means to trust one another. That has to be there. You have to feel okay that like you can make a mistake and the other person isn't going to walk away.
Yeah.
Um, that you can talk about your fears. I think about how we've got many women within our community and our listenership who they aren't necessarily biz besties. They don't share a business or share an income, but they come together and do things like retreats or events and that sort of thing, or podcast guesting. I guess that's not really as much on the table as like hosting a retreat or an event together. If you feel like you are the one doing all of the decision making, all of the marketing, all of the heavy lifting, and that other person's just cruising along and getting a ride and getting to be the co-partner of your retreat or event, you get to stand up and use your voice and say, hey, can we like reset expectations here of how this is supposed to look? Or I feel like a lot of the weight is on me, or this isn't working for me, and walk away. Just because you initially commit to something with somebody, if you don't feel like it is going to support you and your vision and your goals, you get to walk away from that.
Yeah, that happened to me with the business I had a couple previous to my aligned purpose. I started it by myself, and then a friend of mine wanted to help out with it and wanted to join as a business partner. And so I knew in my gut this was a bad idea. Push over Kayla over here just said, okay, let's try it out. Plus, I was convinced that it's too hard to do on my own. And then when it came down to it, there were so many moments where I wanted it way more. I was willing to do it scrappy. I didn't need the social to be perfect. I just wanted to show up and sell. I wanted to do the thing I needed to do to get the product. I was willing to make the investments. I was showing up to the coaching and I was all in because it was my idea and I loved it. And the other person was not all in for whatever reason, like her own journey, her own economic path, her own whatever. And it didn't work. So I had to say, and it was so painful, but I had to say, this isn't working. We're going to close it off at the end of the year and let's still be friends. But I never want to talk about this again because this has been really painful for me and I'm not happy. So it has to be over. Yeah, that was a great lesson to learn. And I think the thing is, like, we were just so mismatched. We didn't talk about values, we didn't want the same thing. I really can be convinced of world domination in almost every front because I'm an all in person as a personality. And to work with someone who is an opposite personality to that, who's I'll do it later, is just not going to work for me. So you have to know, test it out, try a small project first, try a first little course collab. And then if it goes well in your whole body, your gut is, yes, this works for me. You can listen to your intuition. If you have that little tinge of, ooh, I don't know, this is a lot, I'm doing everything, or it's not going the way I want it to, you can check and reflect and say, am I being too controlling? Or do I want to take this in a different direction? Because ultimately, you're just making it up anyway.
I think it's funny, and I could be making this up in my head, but am I making this up in my head? Is the way that we came to the decision or the reality that we share the same values because we each separately wrote down our values and then said, what are yours? What are mine? And we literally had the same three, or did we co-create those together?
I just remember where we were sitting when we first talked about it, but I don't remember what we talked about.
Because I think, I know prior to meeting you, those were my values.
Yeah.
And I believe the way you're wired, they were most likely yours too. So it really was written in the stars that we come together to be business partners. And I think that is a great segue into the third rule is we will always be each other's biggest cheerleader. That's just a come hell or high water. Like when you tell me something, I am going to cheer you on and celebrate you. And I know that when I come to you with something that is really lighting me up, you're going to cheer me on and celebrate me. We don't talk about this beforehand, so I'm springing this on you, Kaila. I'm wired very differently than you. We know that. Like we have complementary skill sets. What about my very like B type or Z type personality do you enjoy working with since you are so type A?
I think what works really well is I need an idea and then I can execute it. But when it comes to generating ideas or thinking through an idea that I've come up with on my own, it feels like too much heavy lifting for me, for my personality type, for what I'm good at, to come up with the idea, decide which idea works, plan the execution, execute it, get it through all the way done. But if you come up with, sometimes I'll just be like, can you please go for a walk, come up with 15 ideas, bring them back to me so I can sort through them and decide what's going to work, what's not going to work, and start executing. It's more than an ideas person. It's we know that there are so many options because you can always come up with another option and we always pick the best one because I know that you can go for another walk and come up with 15 more ideas that can come up with the best one. So everything we deliver to our audience, every event we do, everything we participate in, it's like we do the best possible thing we can think of at the time with full faith that the next best possible thing is coming up momentarily. And so it feels really abundant. It feels really infinite. It doesn't feel scarce at all. And I also like that I've slowly been letting go of my grip on money in that, especially with this big decision we made to be in a coaching program that we're in right now, I had to just say to myself, literally say to myself, it's just money. Are we going to really let money, even though it's a lot of money, are we really going to let money hold us back from getting where we want to go? And I would say 5 years ago, Kaila could never possibly fathom that. There's no way. I've been working on releasing the grip on money and I'm pretty good at manifesting it. I do allow a lot of it in as to what I know. Like, I know how much money the person in my family who makes the most money, like what their lifestyle is. I know what I've seen in real life. But if I want to get beyond that and I want to make a wild amount of money and I want to have an incredible life with my kids and I want to be able to give and also be able to receive in the form of spa days and personal trainers, I need to step it up beyond what I've seen happen before. And so this has just been my whole evolution. I feel like you've already been there the whole time. You're already over there. Yes, I know. I want to receive. It's all possible. And I just had to limp my way over, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, you are definitely working on it. It's no coincidence that when you leap, the net appears, right? Like our
Yeah.
coaching program is, yeah, it's 60K USD. And I have had full faith from the moment we said yes, that when we say yes, the net will appear, AKA more cash flow in our business. And it's been quite remarkable to see what has happened month. We make our payment each month and then what happens in our business each month. And that is from both of us being open to receiving. And so more of that, please. Thank you, universe.
Thank
Um,
you.
I think about so that's how you accept me in my B type. And I think about prior to working with you, I was really against any sort of structure. I was like, no, I don't want to be put in a box. Routine, no, thank you. Structures for losers, just kidding, but structure is not for me. And what I've discovered is that structure, systems, routine set you free. So thank you for teaching me that and for teaching everybody that. And I think for people who are listening and you're looking for your biz bestie, you want to look for somebody who has the shared values as you, but separate or complementary skill sets. If we were both wired the same, it probably wouldn't work the same way. I think about how, if I take our book, for example, I know exactly the end result of how people will feel when they read our book. I can think of the stories that need to be weaved into the book to make it really fun and enticing and keep the reader going. I can think of, oh, we've got to make sure that we cover this, that, and the other thing. But it would not be a book without your brain. It would be a whole bunch of Google folders and me being like, what the fuck do I do now? And so it really just goes to show that as long as we continue to show up and cheer each other on, thank you, Kaila, for being so organized. Thank you for your systems brain. Thank you for making sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And then you on the opposite end, giving me the permission, go for a walk, come up with the big ideas. Thanks for keeping the expansiveness there. That's how we continue to move ahead. That's what it requires to be in a business partnership with one another, to cheer each other on, is to see what the other person brings to the table that you know is not your strength, or maybe not your strongest strength as it is theirs.
Yeah. Okay, so you hear our three things that we require for being biz besties, the three things that work for us and our values. And you're thinking, that would be nice, but I don't have a biz bestie, or there's someone I have in mind, but I don't exactly know how to go forward with that. Or where do I even start? We've got you because we are your biz besties.
This is true.
So, when is the last time that you've surrounded yourself with people, women who are where you want to be? When was the last time you got a little bit uncomfortable and put yourself in a room around other women that you maybe didn't necessarily know yet, and you allowed yourself to be a part of the conversation or just be a listening ear and listen in to hear what they're saying? The reason that we're asking you this question is because we know it's a game changer. We know that your environment is everything. Your environment changes how you feel about yourself, how you show up, who you are. And so when you are stepping into a room, a Zoom call, whatever it might be, and you are a part of the energy of women who are going after it, it is completely different. Like, we've joked about this before, but there's an energy of when you come into, say, a My Line Purpose call, and specifically a Line CEO method, because we create a sisterhood that is, it is tight. It is so tight knit. And when we come on that call, we've got the music playing, and everybody's dropping in the chat saying, hello, good morning, I've got my coffee, nice haircut. Oh my God, there's your kid. There's the dog saying hello to one another. And then when somebody new comes in, like we had, while we were away in LA, we had two new Align CEOs join us. And I saw one of them did her introduction in the group, and everybody's, hey, welcome. So happy you're here. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And that's the energy. How different is that than entering a Zoom call and it's all doom and gloom, or you're not invited, or nobody acknowledges who you are? That's just
Yeah.
not how we operate. We create a culture of, you are welcome here. You deserve to be here. Let's expand your vision. And also, what do you have to bring to the table? We will pull that out of you. If you feel like, I don't have anything to bring to this conversation, I feel like a little fish in a really big pond, do not fret. You have a strength. It may be in your personality, it may be in your actions, it may be in your connections, your network, but you have something. And that is our job. Mine and Kayla's job is to amplify your strengths, to show you what you're really made of, and to show you where you are capable of going.
Yeah. As you were talking, I was thinking about all the women in Aligned CEO and how I feel, and the men in Aligned CEO are aligned men. I feel so connected to everyone who's in there. And I, as the coach, as the facilitator, I feel so supported by everyone who's in there. And of course, we support everyone in there as well. And the business partnerships that I've had before being an aligned CEO, or before creating it, before my aligned purpose, have been with people I already knew. That's the thread. I knew them in a different context, and we had something in common that made us friends, but we didn't have the values in common that made us good business partners. And the number one thing that you need is someone who's willing to come to the table and move their business forward and get after it, because this is not going to be I hate to burst your bubble, but it's not going to be a cakewalk.
No.
We are going to have to deal with the adversity. You're going to have lots of ups and downs, and the ups are going to feel really big. And then the downs are going to feel like we have to solve this problem right now. And you're creating your own cash flow in your business. When you work for somewhere, you're on a salary, you get paid, regardless of if you phone it in 6 days a week. It doesn't matter. You get paid anyway. You might get fired, but you do get paid in the meantime. But when you have your own business, you have the opportunity to make all the money in the world or make no money. And so if you pair with somebody you already know and their context, maybe you met them when you were working somewhere on salary and they maybe have some sort of backup plan where they don't have to hustle as hard as you do, or maybe they're not as passionate about your product, or maybe they, for us, like we both went to coach training. We're both really clear on our values. We both want a coaching company that's worth 8 figures. That has been number one from the beginning. We're going for it. And so if that vision is not crystal clear and matched, it's going to be hard to build a business. So why not shortcut the beginning part and put yourself in a space with 40 plus women? And if you come to She Leads, which we know, we trust you will, which will have 170 women, and women who have just started businesses, thinking about starting it, all the way to women who have been funded by investors and are working on their exit. That's how vast the room is going to be. And you have a space there. You have a place to show up and be someone different than you are, with people who expect you to like your 9 to 5, or who expect you to hate your 9 to 5, or who expect you to stay small, or who expect you to be who you've always been. You get to be different when you come into Aligned CEO Method, if you want to do a whole year-long mastermind with us, or when you come to She Leads, which is the weekend event. Dip your toe into She Leads and then we'll see what happens.
Your biz bestie or your next collaboration or the connection that changes your entire life and business is in that room.
Yeah,
It's in that room. That's a guarantee from me.
absolutely. So we'll see everyone there. You're going to go to myalignedpurpose.com/She Leads and buy your She Leads ticket, or go to our link in bio on Instagram. You can get more info, or just DM us on Instagram at myalignedpurpose, and Nicole will help you navigate. Nicole's in our DMs. We don't hire someone. If we have a many chat on, we see those come through and the bot sends you what you want instantly, and then Nicole will follow up with you. You can ask us anything in our DMs. They are open for you.
Absolutely. And if you're listening and you want to be part of She Leads, and you are a business or know of a business and you have a product that you would love to have in front of 170 other women business owners, please reach out to us. We are still accepting sponsorships for our goodie bags. And so if it feels like an aligned fit, then let's chat about that too.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.